All right, hello and welcome everyone. Good morning from the University of California, Santa Cruz, UC Santa Cruz. Thank you so much for being here today with us. My name is Bryce Benton and I'm the Assistant Director for International Admissions at UC Santa Cruz. And on behalf of the entire UCSC community, I want to welcome you to our College Week Live event today. What we're going to do is run through a quick presentation and give you some information about the university, about the admissions process, and hopefully get some time to answer your questions as well. But before we get going and we get started, I want to introduce the person here to my right. We're fortunate enough today to be joined by our second year student, current UCSC student, Lily. So Lily, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Okay, sounds good. So my name's Lily, but my real name's actually Jiang Yanzhi because I'm an international student from China and this is my second year in East Santa Cruz. I'm a legal studies major and I love it. And I'm also currently a tour guide, campus tour guide for East Santa Cruz, and also I've been involved with Slug to Slug, which is an organization on campus.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So where in China are you originally from?
I'm from southern China, this city called Dongguan.
Okay.
And then I came to the United States when I was 16. I attended 2 years of high school in Colorado.
Okay.
And then here I am in Santa Cruz.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And we're really fortunate, as I mentioned, to have Lily with us here today. I think as a current student, she has a very unique perspective and a lot of great things to talk about. And hopefully, you'll be able to get some good information and some answers to some questions you might be having about UCSC or being a student here. So we're really happy to have you here with us today, Lily.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Good. So I want to start by explaining where exactly UC Santa Cruz is. So I know we probably have a lot of people joining us from many different places, and whether it's Asia, the Middle East, Latin America, we want to give you a little bit of introduction to where exactly Santa Cruz is within California, and where exactly our campus is. So as you see from the map there, Santa Cruz is pretty close to the San Francisco Bay Area. To give you an exact idea, we're about 75 miles south of San Francisco, just 30 miles southwest of San Jose, and 350 miles north of Los Angeles. So we're in a very unique position, well within reach of the city, but still in a very beautiful, very natural setting, right along the California coast in the middle of the redwoods overlooking the Pacific Ocean. It's a really inspiring, really beautiful place to study, to live. And I really do consider myself lucky to be here. And not only that, but there's a lot of benefit you can experience from the location itself, being that we are very close to the financial and cultural centers of San Francisco, of Silicon Valley, and certainly provides a great setting for recreational activities like surfing, camping, kayaking, if that's something you're interested in as well. Lily, why don't you tell us, what do you like about living here?
Yeah, like before I came to Santa Cruz, I've never really hiked before or never really lived by the beach. That's what I love about it. So basically, like if you're like get out of class early, you can just go to the beach. It takes about 20 minutes to get there. It's amazing. And then we live in the redwoods. We go on hikes all the time, every day. It's amazing. And I go on camping trips with my friends. There's a lot to explore here. It's
great. Wonderful. So we'll go, and now that we have an idea of where Santa Cruz is, and UC Santa Cruz is one of 10 campuses within the University of California system. We were founded in 1965, so we're one of the newer UC schools, or UC campuses, and the campus itself sits on 2,000 acres as we mentioned, and we have been mentioning, the beautiful unobscured redwood and California coast. But let's talk a little bit about what makes Santa Cruz unique. And we'll start by addressing a little bit about the impact and the ranking and the reputability of the school. I think that's an important point part to start, right? First, we want to talk about something that we're very proud of, and we really like to talk about and engage with our prospective students, and that is that UC Santa Cruz was recently ranked second in the world for research influence, tied with MIT and just after
very
Rice.
impressive.
Right.
And I also remember it was ranked 7th in the 50th newest universities in the nation.
Mhm.
Is it? Or in the world? I don't remember, but it was really cool though.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and you know, this is a testament to the quality of the university, and we keep moving up in the rankings. And being that we're under 50 years old, you know, we were founded in 1965. I think that's a great testament of where the university is headed,
Yeah.
where we're going, and the quality of education that you're going to receive, or a prospective student might receive as well.
Definitely.
And a lot of that is embodied in this ranking here. Research is a big part of who we are at UC Santa Cruz, and it's not just limited to the faculty.
It's not.
Right.
Like a lot of students get involved. I know a lot of friends who have already done researches as sophomores.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
Even freshmen.
Yeah, which is
Even
which is
freshmen,
incredible, right?
yeah.
And that's a big part about what makes us unique. Undergraduate, graduate students, faculty members. Research is a very community focused thing here.
In all kinds of majors too, not
Yeah.
just science, also in like psych and all that.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah. So no matter what discipline you're in, no matter what year you are, there's opportunities, plenty of opportunities for you here at UC Santa Cruz to engage in research and really dive into your specific area of
Yes.
study. But what this specifically means when we say second in the world for research influence, this simply means that the research that's conducted on UC Santa Cruz's campus is cited second most in the world by other researchers in their work. So it's a very powerful
Yeah.
statistic because it really shows the influence of the research being done, not just the fact that it is being done.
Yeah,
right?
my friend always told me that he always sees our names in like all kinds of publications. It's
Right.
really cool.
Yeah, yeah. So, but let's talk a little bit about other important aspects, and we'll continue with the rankings, and just a few examples of some other areas that we have been recognized in. Point out a few, and you can see them here in front of you, but again, kind of 11th worldwide among universities under 50 years old, and I think that does give a great sense of the direction of the university and where we're headed, and certainly where we are already. And just a few other, in specific areas as well, 6th in the world for international finance, and 1st in the worldwide for research impact in molecular biology and
really
genetics.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something, again, we're very proud of. And we're the first campus to sequence the human genome, some researchers here
wow.
within the university. So that's a great example of the impact
It is.
of the work that's
definitely.
being done. So on that note, we're talking about academics, we're talking about research and some of the rankings and where UC Santa Cruz is, but let's talk about the academic programs.
Okay.
Okay, so we are a major research university. We have over 17,000 students on our campus, right? And we're a public school, but what that means, I think, to a prospective student maybe, is that there are a lot of opportunities.
A lot of them.
Right.
For example, I'm a legal studies major, but I took a lit class in my freshman year and actually met this really cool professor. He really liked me and I really liked his class, and he actually gave me an opportunity to a summer internship this summer. It's not even my major, but like you just have to, meet people and they'll, give you all kinds of opportunities and stuff.
Yeah,
It's
that's
amazing.
really cool. Really cool. And that's the power, I think, is that, we have a major research university, but it's not so big that you're lost in the shuffle. It's very personal.
No, you definitely find like opportunities everywhere.
Yeah.
And help.
That's
and
fantastic,
resources,
yeah. And that's great to hear. So, but when we're talking about academic programs specifically, we do have over 62 majors to choose from at the undergraduate level. 45 minors and 54 concentrations in these 5 subject areas.
That's a lot.
So there are a lot to choose from. We keep adding new and exciting programs. For example, the robotics engineering bachelor's degree.
It's really cool.
Network and digital technology through the Baskin School of Engineering. So there is a full array of academic opportunities and disciplines and a number of different subjects.
Mm-hmm.
And as time goes on, I have no doubt that we'll continue to expand upon that. And if you're interested in something, there's probably something here for you at UC Santa Cruz. So we mentioned it a little bit earlier, and I want to expand on that a little bit and see if you maybe have something to add to this, but undergraduate research opportunities. And you know, it is a big part of who we are. It's a big part of our culture. So Lily, why don't you maybe talk about that? Have you had a chance to do any research? Do you plan to do anything? Is there any programs that you want to engage in?
I haven't done any research myself, but I know my friends who are involved in like neuroscience researches as sophomores with professors. It's really cool. But other than research, we have this really cool program called UCDC where you study not abroad, but like you study in our capital city in Washington D.C. and then you're really likely to get a job offer afterwards. So that's what I'm trying to do for my senior year.
Okay.
So
Okay, great.
it's really cool.
Yeah. And what you mentioned was UCDC, and that's a great. I'm really glad you mentioned that, and you can see it up on the slide. It's the last bullet point here. UCDC is a center, University of California operated center in Washington D.C., as you mentioned, in our nation's capital, and many students are able to spend some time there to study, to get a different experience, to do research, and that's one of many different opportunities available to our current students.
And I've heard great things about it. People come back from it and always tell me it's amazing.
Yeah.
They meet great people and like great opportunities all the time.
Cool. Very nice. Very good. But you know, like I said, that's one, right? And we certainly have many more.
Yes.
And there's a few examples up here on the slide here that'll give you a few indicators into what else we have to offer. The Open Lab Network, which is an interdisciplinary collaborative research internship, which is facilitates innovation, creativity, and collaborative research. So, among many others. So this is just to kind of illustrate that there are many different opportunities, and hopefully that you'll seek them out as you are a student. Studying here, we think it's a great integral part of being a student, being a banana slug.
Slug.
Yeah, absolutely.
Slug prize.
There you go. And one note too, I just noticed and I didn't mention it. On the slides themselves, you'll notice some web addresses down there at the bottom. So if you see something that we're talking about and you want to get more information about it, it's just going to direct you to where you should go to find out more. So I definitely encourage you to do that. Obviously, the web's going to be a great resource for you to find more information. But let's talk next about something that I think makes UC Santa Cruz extremely unique and a very fun and very engaging place to live and study, and that is our residential colleges. So UC Santa Cruz is broken up into 10 residential colleges. Each college has an individual theme, and pretty much just creates a smaller community
yes.
of living and learning on campus within a larger major public research university. So Lily, can you tell us which college you're affiliated with and your experience there and why you chose that?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm affiliated with Cowell College, and the reason I chose there was because I went on a tour before I came to the school, and I absolutely loved the location. I could oversee the ocean and the view. It was just gorgeous. I fell in love with it. And then when I came to school, I met all these great people in my college because we all had classes together, so it made us even closer. And then like people just down your hall, you can just go say hi. Everyone's really, really friendly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you only get to meet people in your college, because you always have friends who know this person from another college. So it's great. Meet everyone basically from all over the campus.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah. So I don't know, a little bit about maybe the services that are provided through the colleges. Do you have experience with the academic advising or maybe any other programming that goes on within your college?
Each college has its own college advisor, and then, for example, you're a freshman, you don't know where to go, you always go to them, and they'll lead you to wherever you need to be. They're amazing people, and also we have a lot of resources and help services. For example, I'm not a person who's good at math, So when I took my math classes, I was really nervous, thought I was gonna fail. And then we have this program called MSI, which is a student who has previously taken this class and gotten a good grade on it. They teach you in the smaller environment, and then like they answer all the questions you have. It's really helpful. I actually ended up getting an A at math, which never happened before.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that, I think that speaks well, Lily, to the personalized approach
Yes.
and the support that,
Yes,
that the university
exactly.
really shows its undergraduate students. And our main priority when it's all said and done is ensuring our students' success. And I think it's very much showcased
Yes.
in the residential college system, because I think it does add that community that you
It
mentioned.
definitely does.
So one quick question before we move on from this topic specifically is, I'm curious, how did you choose your college, or how did you get placed in your college?
So I remember when I got accepted, they sent me an email, and then I logged onto this website, and I could put in 5 choices out of 10. And then, well, based on the tour I already went on, I loved Cowell, so definitely that was my first choice.
Okay.
And then based on memories of other colleges, I just put them into, I just put 5 down, and I ended up getting my first choice, which is amazing.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. That's fantastic. And it's something that you were lucky enough, you were able to actually visit the campus before, because you said you were going to high school in Colorado.
Yes.
So that's great. And if any students watching this have a chance to visit before, I think that's a great opportunity. We would encourage you to do that.
Exactly. But if not, there are all kinds of themes in colleges. They're all different. You can just pick the one you like, or just based on pictures and locations.
Right.
No matter which one you end up in, you always find great friends.
Fantastic. And we certainly have some information on the website and literature there to help you explore and discover the colleges a little bit further. And one kind of unique thing too about one of our residential communities is the International Living Center.
Yes, it's a great community. I don't live here. I don't live there. I didn't live there my freshman year. I had a chance to, but I didn't. But I know people who live there and have visited. It's a really, really close community of international students. But it's like 50, for example, this apartment has 4 people, and it would be like 2 Americans and 2 international students. So it helps you, get used to the cultural thing. And it's just, it's an amazing program. And they have all kinds of activities. For example, it's Italian night. They all make Italian food and eat it together. So yeah, food always makes everyone feel better.
Well, I could definitely second that. Yeah, and that's one option, or one available resource, if you're interested in living in that type of environment. But we certainly have a lot of different options to accommodate a lot of different lifestyles and a lot of different interests. So let's talk about some exciting stuff, right?
Okay.
Because I think that the academic experience and what you may experience here as a student is not only inside the classroom,
It's not.
but it's outside the classroom too, right? Because you're living here, you're really immersed in this environment. So before we have some things listed here on the slide, but Lila, I would love to hear from you and just kind of hear what you do, outside the classroom, maybe some programs you're involved in, and a little bit more about those.
Well, for entertainment, me and my friends always go hiking. I already mentioned that.
Sure.
And as it's listed on the presentation Opers, it's a great place because when we went camping, we didn't have tents. So we just went there and rented tents and sleeping bags and everything we ever needed for camping trips. So that was amazing. It was really convenient too.
Yeah, and Opers, just to provide the audience a little bit of context, is the Office of Physical Education, Recreation, and Sports.
Exactly.
And through this office, they do a lot of different extracurricular and outside of the classroom activities. And one you mentioned is providing supplies, right?
Yeah.
Or different information on adventures you can take and club sports, and we have great facilities on campus to engage you outside of the classroom with pools and with basketball courts, racquetball courts, tennis courts. And that's all housed through the Office of Physical Education, Recreation, and Sports, which we call OPERS. So But you're also a campus tour guide.
Yes, I am. I actually just got a job. Yay! I love it so far because I love this campus and I fell in love with it when I came on a tour. So I try my best to give all the information I can and make everyone fall in love with it just the way I did. It's a great job.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then you're also involved with Slug to Slug, from what I understand. So maybe just to speak a little bit about that experience.
It's a student-run organization. They do. They have programs that they have all kinds of activities that benefit the students. For example, we had an alumni weekend last year, which was really successful. We put up all kinds of activities, and then the alumni loved it. Yeah. And we did all the work, so it felt pretty good.
Good. So it sounds like you're really involved. You're getting a lot of different things, and you're doing this presentation with us here today.
Exactly. And then there's also this volunteer program.
Sure.
Where you just sign up for it, and whenever they need volunteers, they send you an email and tell you, oh, do you have time for this? And if you do and you want to help, you just send them an email back, say I want to help. There are all kinds of stuff you could do on campus.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful, and it's great to hear, from my perspective, that you're doing so well. You're so engaged, and we love to see that. And there are so many different opportunities. We have over 150 student organizations. Yes. So obviously, what Lily's doing is just a sample of all the different opportunities.
A lot more.
Yeah. And one thing too that I think that's a bit unique, and maybe you can speak about this if it's on your radar or something you plan to do, is the Education Abroad program.
Yes. My friends always say that, Lily, you're already studying abroad. What are you doing? Because I'm planning to go to England my junior year. But I mean, I've already studied abroad in America, but I haven't been to Europe yet. So I mean, it's always a great opportunity to go anywhere you want to go when you're still young. Yeah. That's why I want to do it. It's a great program. I heard good things about it. And there are all kinds of people there to help you to go through the whole process. They help you with the little tiniest detail. Yeah. Just great.
And you're right. I mean, we are very fortunate that we have such great support. Through our international education office, both the International Scholar and Student Services, which we'll get to here in a little bit.
And just one more thing about EAP. They have really, really good programs for universities. For example, the schools they have for China are the best schools in China. I would never be able to get in those schools if I was still in China. They're like Harvard of China.
Okay,
so
sure.
Trust me, those are really good programs, and not that hard to get into.
Fantastic. And EAP is a University of California system-wide program. So, UC Santa Cruz historically has had a very, very high participation rate. Our students are very engaged in that way, and they study abroad at very impressive numbers. But the Education Abroad program is a system-wide program which we really benefit from because you get to go to a lot of different places, and as you said, a lot of different programs with great schools and opportunities there. So we'll continue, we'll move along, and we'll talk about supporting your students. And we already talked about it a little bit, and I know you mentioned MSI and your experience in the residential college. And academic advising and support services are available within your individual residential college, which I think is again, a great thing because it really gives you that small, personalized support and service that is so important, especially as an international student.
Yes.
And then also not just the academic support, but there's different kinds of support.
All kinds of support. For example, Career Center. Since I just got this new job and I'm also an international student, there's a lot of stuff I need to do to get my documents done and everything. The Career Center helped me so much. I did not know anything about getting a social security number until they told me exactly what to do. So that was amazing. Yeah, there's always help when you need it.
Good. And part of that, we have all these resources, and part of the residential colleges are really kind of helping you understand where to go. Also, things like orientation, all these other services that we have will help guide you in those directions. So, not only are they there, but you're also you know where to use them. You feel comfortable using them. So that is the goal of certainly admissions and a lot of other departments to help students navigate the university as well and all the different things that we offer. One quick note too before I move on here is talking about health and safety. For a lot of the people in the audience and those who are international students, you may be coming from a very long way, right? And this may be your first time in America or your first extended time away from home.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, health and safety is going to be it's going to be something that you want to be aware of. You want to make sure you're in a safe and comfortable environment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have this insurance called UC Ship, is it?
Mhm.
And I mean, for like when I came here, I had no insurance or whatever, but I
Mhm.
had to pay for UC Ship, which is actually amazing, because when you get sick, you don't have to worry about it. You just go to the health center and they'll like do everything they could to help you.
Right.
So.
And that's one great service that
Mhm.
that we have, and it's certainly others as well. We have
Mhm.
a fire station, a police station on
Yes,
campus.
On campus.
Right, and it's all designed to just make sure you have a safe, supportive environment. A lot of wellness programs to ensure that people are remaining
Yeah.
active. So it really does paint a very safe and well-rounded picture.
Yeah.
That so you feel in a comfortable environment to really explore your interests and your
Definitely.
passions.
There's this great program since we're a huge campus.
Mhm.
If you don't want to walk alone at night from point A to point B, there are train staff, and you can always call and they will escort you to wherever you need to be at. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's
They're
great.
available 24/7.
Great. So let's move on then, and we'll talk about that's something I mentioned earlier,
Mhm.
just a minute ago, which is our International Scholar and Student Services.
Okay.
And this is really going to be obviously directed towards the international student audience that we
Mhm.
have here with us today. And the International Scholar and Student Services is a resource on campus that's within the International Education Office
Mhm.
that's designed to provide immigration advising services and support and advice for maintaining immigration status and everything
Mhm.
while in the U.S. This obviously isn't the most exciting topic,
But it's important.
Absolutely,
Very
right?
important,
Absolutely.
yes.
And you're here on an F1 student visa,
Mhm,
correct?
I am.
So can you explain maybe how you've engaged with the International Scholar and Student
Um,
Services Office?
They send all the international students an email in welcoming week,
Mhm.
and then for like a time for a workshop, and then like
Mhm.
they tell you everything you need to know about your documents.
Mhm.
It's really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the office that will issue the Form I-20, which is
Yes.
the university-sponsored document that will sponsor your visa application.
It's basically your identification.
Sure, that you will use in your home country
Mhm.
to apply for a visa. So, an integral part of the experience as an international student, but it certainly doesn't end at just simply issuing immigration documents and maintaining your immigration status. They also have programs,
Programs,
right, and things
yes.
designed to address the international student
Uh-huh.
audience specifically. So one thing I would like to talk about in this list
Mhm.
here is social events. Have you had a chance to?
Yes, I have actually. I've been to the International Lingo, whatever.
Mhm.
I don't remember the name, but basically we get free pizzas and free drinks, and then just all talk together. It's really fun.
Yeah.
You meet people from everywhere. People who came to the U.S. to study abroad, or people who went out to other countries to study abroad. We all come together to talk about all our experiences and share cultures. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
That's great, and that that's an important I think
Mhm.
aspect.
It
Is having these types of events, not only campus-wide events,
Mm-mm.
but also events aimed specifically at engaging international
Yeah,
populations too.
exactly.
And that's a big part about what they do. And these events are fantastic, and they are consistent. And we have them. Actually, we have an international mingle coming up at the end of this month downtown Santa Cruz at Woodstock Pizza. And a photo contest too.
Yes.
So there's a lot of great things to stay involved. That the International Education Office and specifically ISSS puts on, in addition to informational workshops, the kind of important travel advice and
Yes.
tips and cultural topics, employment information. So it's going to be a great resource for our prospective
It
international
is.
students. So we'll move on here and we'll talk about the admissions process. So we've covered a lot of topics so far. Who UC Santa Cruz is, as one of 10 campuses within the University of California system, where we're located within the state of California, the different rankings, the different academic programs we have, the residential college system, we talked about research, we talked about support services. we've actually covered
a lot of stuff.
a lot
yes.
of stuff, right? So we're making good ground. But let's next talk about the admission process and the application process. That's obviously an integral part, a very important
Very important.
part. So,
not the most fun part, but very, very important.
very important, and we want to make sure that you get all the information that is appropriate. So we'll start by explaining the admission requirements. Okay, and what you see on your page here, or on the screen here in front of you, is the minimum UC freshman admission requirements. So if you're applying as a freshman to the university, these are the minimum requirements to qualify for the University of California. Step one here is the completion of a sequence of college preparatory courses, which we'll get to on the next slide. The second here is talking about your grades and that you earn during your high school or secondary school career. And the minimum requirement here would be a 3.0 on a 4-point scale for California residents, and more importantly to this audience, a 3.4 on a 4-point scale for non-California residents or those residing out of state or out of country. And then the third step here is meeting the examination requirement by taking the ACT or the SAT no later than December of your senior year. So when we talk about the A through G course pattern, basically what you can take from this, and there is this is available online, so I definitely encourage you to go there. I don't want to talk too much about it because I want to leave time for some question and answers, hopefully, here within the hour. But basically what this means, this A through G course pattern, it breaks it down into the different subject areas that we look for in your secondary school career. And this is the areas of study that we believe will prepare you for success within the University of California. So you see the different categories broken in here, and the year requirement that we look for on your academic record when you apply. And it's important to know that this is what we look for in a minimum in these subject areas and the amount of time that you've engaged in these different subjects. Similarly, what we expect in terms of the grades you earn is a well-performing student. And I mentioned that a 3.4 on a 4-point scale. A grade point average is what we look for, but that's a high B average, and we know that not every student is coming from the same A through F grading system, but whatever that equivalent may be in your own system is something that we can or establish the equivalency and make the appropriate determinations based on your self-reported grades that you would submit on your application. But this is a good breakdown of the different requirements in the A through G category. If you have questions about whether or not you're meeting these requirements or anything at all, I definitely encourage you to contact our office to get further information about that. But basically what I want to say with this is the areas that we expect to see on your academic record. This is what we believe will help prepare you to be successful in the classroom, and that's our biggest priority, is ensuring that the students are successful. And what I would say as well is that if you feel like you can be a successful student at UC Santa Cruz, then you should apply. We really want to stress that. So if you feel like you can be successful, apply, ask questions, make sure that you are fully informed, but do not assume one thing or the other about your record, and we always encourage students to apply. Because these are minimum qualifications, but certainly we've admitted students who may not meet this exact profile. And then lastly is a few notes to address international students specifically. As I mentioned, the minimum 3.4 GPA, but actually one unique thing is that every application that is submitted as part of the admissions process does receive a thorough review by our well-trained, well-qualified international specialists. So the great thing is when you complete an application with the UC, is you just report all your grades as they appear on your academic record. And then we will take that information, weigh it against all of our different databases and information resources that we have to make sure we're giving everybody a fair and honest application review in the process. And then also taking or establishing English proficiency.
Yes, TOEFL test.
Yes.
It's important, and I'm sure there are all kinds of prep classes you could take for it if you don't feel confident enough. I'd suggest take more than one time. First time, always nervous, but the second time it's always a lot better.
Yeah.
Once you actually know what the test is going to be like.
Yeah. And that is an important aspect of our admissions process. It is a requirement that students take either the TOEFL or IELTS
Yes.
By January of their senior year. So plan ahead. Make sure you have those requirements met, right?
Yes.
And ask questions if you ever feel like you need support from the university. We are here to support you. So that's a quick overview of the requirements of the application. Let's talk a little bit about how we select or how we offer admission, how we use our selection criteria. And that's outlined here, and these are the 14 that you see on the screen, the 14 UC approved criteria, and what we look for when we're reviewing applications. And a few of these I already mentioned, the grade point average, the test scores, right? But it's certainly not just about
It's not just about grades, also about yourself as a person. So personal statement is really, really important. Like, just basically tell the school why you should be chosen. Like, why they want you.
Yeah.
Like,
and
how awesome you are. Say all of it in your personal statement.
Well, and Lily's a great resource for this because you had been admitted, right? So she's coming from a place of experience, and undoubtedly, a great resource for any prospective students, because this is someone who has done it, applied, and been successful in being admitted, and has now translated that into success inside the classroom as well. So, but this is a look at the 14 criteria that we do look for beyond GPA and test scores. Just a few we'll mention here. Special projects, right? What you do outside of the classroom, the quality and rigor of your coursework, and not only your sophomore and junior, or year 11 and 12, year 10 and 11, but your senior year as well, your freshman year, right?
Definitely.
We want to see that you're continuing to challenge yourself, that you're doing well in your circumstances, wherever you may be attending school and whatever education system you're coming from.
Yes.
So, next, and this is a great opportunity for us to expand a little bit on what you already mentioned, which is the personal statement. So, as a part of any application, you have your grades that you report, you have your test scores, right, which are your ACT or SAT, your TOEFL or your IELTS, and then you have your extracurriculars, right, that you put in, and you input those in the application. But then you have the personal statement.
Yes.
Right? So can you explain a little bit about, or maybe talk a little bit more about that?
It's just all about yourself. For example, me, you could talk about an experience, or, someone who's really inspiring. But for me, I talk about my experience of coming abroad, why I wanted to get educated here, and how that happened. It's a really complicated process, but basically showed me how much I want this opportunity, and how, great I am that the college should want me, Just express yourself.
Yeah, it's a place for you to showcase your leadership and your experiences, and also if there's something that you want to explain in the application, maybe that doesn't come through in your grades or in your test scores, or if maybe there's a gap in your education.
Very true.
Or, right?
Yeah, when I first came to the States, I wasn't really good at writing papers, so I didn't really get good grades in English. But I told them, in the personal statement, that I was an international student, I was struggling, but then I overcame all the difficulties, and then I eventually got good grades. So, talk about that.
Yeah, and that's a great example, and you had one area that maybe you felt that was a little bit not as strong as your other areas in your application, and you took this space to really talk about that.
Explain yourself.
Yeah.
Everything.
So grade trends, anything that you feel, I would view it as if you're sitting down in front of an admissions officer like myself, right? And just explaining, your experience, because everyone's an individual, everyone's unique, and that's what we want to bring out in this process. And a personal statement is your chance to talk to us, right?
Exactly.
Great. So, and that is an important part, and I would stress, practicing, planning ahead on this, and taking your time and making sure you put something together that you're proud of. So quickly, we want to cover too, because that's what we just covered the admissions process for incoming freshmen, right? Those who are coming to the UC and UC Santa Cruz directly from your secondary or high school. But we also welcome and encourage
Transfer.
Students to attend a community college and transfer to the UC. So that's another path that somebody can take. So maybe
Yeah.
a student who isn't offered admission as a freshman, or maybe doesn't have the opportunity to apply as a freshman, can also consider attending a community college.
Yes.
And that's what we have up here. And you'll see on the slide in front of you, and I'll put it to full screen here. So transfer admission, and how we admit transfer students is at the junior level. So you would attend your first 2 years at a community college, and we always encourage students to look into the California community college system. It's big, it's a great, really well-known community college system, but certainly there are community colleges that exist throughout the United States and throughout the world as well. And this will give you just a quick glimpse into what we require if you are someone who's looking to transfer from a community college. So we look for 2 years, or what would be the equivalent of 60 semester or 90 quarter units of transferable coursework. Within that coursework, having a minimum grade point average of 2.4 for California residents, or 2.8 for non-California residents on a 4-point scale. And then obviously, just success within that. We want to see that you are preparing yourself, through taking the appropriate general education courses, taking the appropriate courses that will help prepare you for your specific major is really important. And one great resource for those who are considering this path is assist.org, what you see on your screen there. And I would really encourage those students who are considering this path to plan ahead. If you want to come to a UC, if that's your ultimate goal, that's fantastic. We're honored that that's your goal. And if you want to take this path, make sure that you are setting yourself up for success, right? By planning ahead and using the resources that are available to you to make sure you have a successful application as a transfer student. And then on that note, talking about applying as a transfer student, and this is one opportunity that we have. Called the Transfer Admissions Guarantee. And 7 of UC's 9 undergraduate campuses offer guaranteed admissions to California community college students who meet specific requirements under this Transfer Admission Guarantee program. And as a note, all campuses have a variety of other programs supporting transfer admissions, so this is just one example. But you'll see this is a great pathway, something that you can use as a goal while you're attending community college to ensure that your transfer application will be successful when you go to apply to the UC. And as I mentioned, just kind of what we stress for those students who are planning to transfer is major preparation, right? Because you're going to be transferring as a junior level student potentially. So it's important that you've taken classes that will allow you to
transition smoothly into your major.
Yeah, declare a major. We want to make sure you're not falling back. We want to make sure you're on pace to graduate within a 4-year window after high school or your secondary school. So taking the necessary classes, because as a part of any degree at UC Santa Cruz, you're going to have a lot of different components. Right, you're going to have your general education requirements. You're going to have your major specific requirements. So making sure that you're on track, even though you may be at a California community college, to transfer to UC Santa Cruz. So let's talk a little bit about records, right?
Okay.
And how it works, because the University of California is a little bit unique, right? In that we ask our applicants and our students to self-report their grades. So at the time you apply as a prospective student, you actually do not have to submit any transcripts or any copies of those transcripts, right?
I remember that. It was really weird.
Yeah. But you know what? I think it's it is unique, right? But it's a great thing because you don't have to take all those extra steps. You self-report your grades. and your marks on the application itself and your test scores. Obviously, if you're taking SAT or ACT and you have the opportunity to send scores to our school, I would encourage that. And as a note, if you do take the SAT or ACT and you send your scores to one UC campus, we all receive them, so there's no need to send them to each UC campuses at which you may be applying. But then specifically, and after you've applied and been admitted, you will be asked to submit your documentation. So your official academic records, your diploma, your test scores, and then specifically we want to address the international academic records. So Lily, can you talk a little bit about how you went through that process? Because you were in the United States in high school,
Yes.
but you still had academic records that you need to get from China.
Yes, because I didn't do my whole entire high school in America, so
Okay.
I still had records back in China. So luckily, my mom was really, really helpful. She collected all my transcripts and made a lot of copies of them and sent them to me by EMS.
Okay, yeah.
EMS is great.
Yeah, yeah. But it's important, and that
Important to know that
Yeah.
you need to do that.
yeah, and meeting all the deadlines, you know, for the submission of those documents is very
Yes.
important. You've worked hard to get to this point, and if you have been admitted, you want to make sure you get all that information together
Very
and you
true.
plan ahead.
Yeah.
And that's always important.
Just talk to your teachers and make sure they, you're on the same page, and then they can help you out with it.
Yeah, great, great. So then let's talk about when you apply, right? So we have at UC Santa Cruz for freshmen and for transfer students, we have one intake per year, and that's in the fall.
Okay.
Right, and that's in late September. And each year, our application becomes available on October 1st, and the application filing period is in the month of November. So I just want to make sure for those students who are with us today who are interested in applying for this fall and haven't already, we do have an appeal process. You can find more information about that on our website. To go through a late application appeal, or you can potentially appeal your decision. But all that information is available on the website, and I would encourage you to explore that. Right?
Good.
And then just as a note too, and you can see it on the slide there, we do not have early action or an early decision process, and that goes for the University of California. We have one common application. You complete one application, and you can apply
to all of them.
up to 9 campuses. Right? Did you apply to more than one UC campus?
I don't exactly remember. I think I only applied to either this one, and I think I applied to Berkeley too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to stay inside San Francisco area.
Right. Okay. So on that note, I think it'll be a good timing for us to address those that are with us today that have already applied for fall 2014. It's a very exciting time.
Nervous.
Yeah. We are in the process right now in the admissions office of actually reviewing all of the applications that we've received. We're very lucky, we're very fortunate. We actually received a record number of international student applications this year. So we're really excited about that. But just want to address those that are with us that have applied, and first want to thank those students,
Thank you.
And congratulate you guys on all that you've done, on applying to the UC, and for taking on this ambitious potential opportunity of studying abroad.
Yes.
And as I'm sure you can attest to, Lily, it is a nervous time. It's an
It is
exciting
very,
time.
very nervous. Oh, very, very nervous because during March when they send you emails about everything, I was in Dominican Republic volunteering, trying to teach orphans Spanish. So we had no Wi-Fi. A lot of my senior class were there. We were just super, super anxious and nervous about everything. And then once we got to the airport, we started getting all the emails. Everyone was screaming. I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, so it's all worth it.
Yeah. And that's a great story about your experience and how you found out you were admitted, and that's fantastic. And I wish I could go to the Dominican Republic right now. That sounds like a lot of fun.
That was an experience.
But for those students who are in Lily's position right now, just to give you a few things to look out for, I don't want to spend too much time here, but a few things to look out for and upcoming, and that's March 15th, we will release our admissions decisions for freshmen who've applied, and then March 17th, ongoing through April 30th, are the admission decisions for for transfer
Transfers.
students, right? And just a few notes here, making sure that you are submitting your academic update, so we're understanding how you're doing and progressing in your senior year. If you need to notify admissions if there's any schedule changes from what you reported on your application in your senior year, as well as if you receive any poor grades. We want to make sure we know of that and are on the same page and are up to date with where you are in your school and in your secondary school in your senior year. And then if you are admitted, hooray, first off, take a minute, celebrate, take a deep breath, and then review, and we hope you consider accepting that offer.
School.
Yeah, and the deadlines for doing so, for accepting that offer would be May 1st.
May 1st.
For
I remember that.
Right? So that doesn't change, right? That's typically how we have it, May 1st, and then June 1st for transfer students. And then really encourage you guys to attend some of our upcoming events. And I think and there's so much that goes on, and it's a very involved process. Once you are admitted and you're trying to decide whether or not you want to attend UC Santa Cruz, we have a lot of different stuff to try to help you be introduced to the university, to meet students like Lily, to meet with faculty, to meet with staff. A few examples of those are on the screen there. Virtual Spring Spotlight, which if you are international, if you're not able to make it on campus in the month of April, this is a great opportunity to experience what the campus has to offer and all the different services we provide. And then if you are able to make it to campus, hooray, again. You can meet Lily in person, and that's another obviously great way to really experience it and understand the campus and the community and the culture we have here. And much more. So we're actually traveling internationally, so if you are abroad right now, there are opportunities to engage with us, not just in Santa Cruz, but virtually online and throughout the world. So definitely look out for those. And two things I want to say on that to that audience who has applied: check your email. Check your email. We send out a lot of good information, a lot of very important and useful information, so be sure to check that. Check your student portal.
That's important.
Right? Check that often. That's where your decisions are going to be released. That's where you're going to find critical to-do lists and information to help guide you on the path of accepting that offer if you are admitted. Okay, so one last thing I want to talk about here is paying for college. Right? That's the reality of it. Unfortunately, college isn't free. It would be fantastic if that were the case, but certainly it is a partnership, though, paying for college, between the families, between you as the students, and between the university. So I want to make sure I direct those who do want more information to the web, to additional resources on financing your education. But let's take a look quickly at the financing table, or what you can expect as a student in paying for your education. And this is a breakdown of the estimated costs. Really the fixed costs are going to be your tuition and fees. And then you can see for both on-campus and off-campus it remains the same. And then that non-resident tuition as well for those non-California residents. But the rest you can kind of...
You could buy cheap books. I mean, books are expensive. You don't have to buy them at the bookstore. You can always look for other ways to get them. Right. And dining, I mean, we have great meal plans. So, you don't even have to go off campus to eat. But unlimited, you can go as many times as you want in a day and get as much food as you want. So, it's all great. Yeah, and then, Lily, about your where do you live? Tell us a little about your living situation and maybe how you can save money there. Yeah, I live in the Cowell apartment. And we have a kitchen, so sometimes I cook. But I also use this 55-day meal plan where I can eat in a lot of alternative eateries on campus. And they always have great food, so it's not even that expensive, but you get great food. Great. Yeah, so, basically there are a lot of ways that you can potentially, help cover the cost, save a little bit of money, and try to ease some of the burden. And we certainly have some scholarship opportunities available as well. One of those is the Undergraduate Dean's Award, which is a $20,000 award applied towards tuition for incoming freshmen, and those transfer students a $10,000 award towards tuition
for any non-residents applying to the
Nice.
university. And there are a lot of opportunities for additional scholarships and things, right? I mean,
Yes.
you've been made aware of some. Do you have any
Yes.
insight there?
Professors always tell you. They always send you emails and tell you all kinds of scholarships that you could get and you could qualify for.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and there are opportunities,
Mhm.
and there are different scholarships you can apply for, as you
Mhm.
mentioned,
Mhm.
and as a student you will definitely be made aware of those,
Yes.
and we hope you consider looking into those a little
Mhm.
bit further. So great. So we kind of flew by with this. I mean, it's gone by very quickly.
It's a lot of
and
information.
yeah, it is a lot of information. I know there's a few questions coming through, so I want to be sure to
Okay.
try to address those before within the last 5 minutes that we have here today.
Sounds good.
So I'm having some trouble with the question or the
But
chat function here.
I'm the off-camera voice.
Yes, this is our moderator,
It's our
Beatrice Atkinson
moderator.
Myers.
And I've seen a couple of your questions coming in. The first thing I just want to remind everybody that is this is an undergraduate UC Santa Cruz
Yes.
undergraduate admissions presentation. We do encourage those of you who are interested in graduate studies here at UC Santa Cruz to visit grad.ucsc.edu or visit the individual department you might be interested in getting your graduate degree in.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who are specifically interested in undergraduate admissions, welcome. We're so happy you're here joining us. I know Sebastian actually had a really great question.
Sure.
His question was, given the fact that you've had a record number of international applicants this year,
Mhm.
what's my chances of being admitted as an undergraduate international student?
Sure. And
So that's a great question.
yeah, I think that's a great question, and thank you, Sebastian, for that question, and I'm glad you brought that up. UC Santa Cruz, and this information is all available on our website, and historical data about our admissions rate, and the rate at which we admit our applicants from in-state, from out of the country. There's no denying it. UC Santa Cruz has become a more selective campus over the past few years, and actually recently, I believe it was last year, or the year before, was the first year at which we actually we accepted under 50% of overall of the applications that we received. So it's becoming a little bit more competitive in terms of the admissions process. But there's no quotas or any types of figures or restrictions that we put on international students. And actually our international student admit rate was a little bit higher than that of our in-state applications when you look at the numbers from last year. So your chances as an international student, the moral of what I'm trying to say there is the same as if you were an in-state student. We are becoming a little bit more competitive overall in the amount of offers of admissions we extend based on the applications we receive. But going back, as I said, if you feel like you can be a successful student here, we encourage you to apply. And because you're an international student, that doesn't give you a benefit, or it doesn't hurt your chances in any way of being admitted. We review all of our applicants, and we don't consider where they're from in terms of helping or hurting their admission or their application to the university. So thank you again, Sebastian, for that question. That's a great question.
That was a really fantastic question. We have a couple of other questions coming in from students who are interested in knowing, do we accept A-levels here at UC Santa Cruz in terms of equivalencies? Some students are internationally, they're coming and they're taking these standardized tests.
Mhm.
Do we accept them for credit? And then we have another question coming in about international baccalaureate diploma and whether we accept that.
Okay. So I'll keep this brief because of the time, but the quick answer, and again, I would encourage you to email our office directly if you really want a thorough answer of this question, but the basic answer is yes, we do. So A-level curriculum, we do review that, we do accept that curriculum in addition to the IB diploma or IB coursework or AP coursework. That is all accepted and noted for its rigor and for its challenging structure and curriculum. We also do accept those A-level exams for credit in addition to those high-level IB exams and the AP exams, provided you score a 3 or above on the AP exam, a 5 or above on the IB, and score well on the A-level exams. So, and that's something where, again, I would encourage you to for that individual who did have that question, to email our office to get specifics, but there is information available on the University of California website that really will give you a breakdown of which exams apply to which courses and how many credits you can earn and what grade you would need to earn on those exams to apply towards credit here at UCSC.
And Sebastian's got another great question.
All right,
I just wanna
Sebastian.
make sure we get this in. He is asking, is there anything I can do now after applying to increase my chances of admission? Are interviews accepted at the University of California?
Well, I can answer this again. I hate to keep answering the questions because I have such a great resource next to me. But after you apply, we don't do interviews, so that wouldn't be a necessary part of the admission process. And all I can say is, Sebastian, in terms of if you've already applied and you're in your senior year, is
Just be confident.
sure, yeah, be confident, do well in your senior year.
Yeah.
That's what you can control, right?
Yeah.
And I want to, I would say, just you've worked hard, you've gotten yourself to this point. Don't let your senior year be a potential detriment to your application, because we do look at that. So for those students we do offer admission. If you falter in your senior year, that could potentially be grounds for removal of your offer of
Yes.
admission. And that was the last thing we want, and I'm sure that you want as a student. You've worked so hard and so long at getting to this point. So focus on what you can. Focus on your senior year. If you are denied admission for one reason or the other, and you have a strong senior year and you feel like you want to appeal that decision, that's well within your right, and the instructions and information to do so are available on the website. And hopefully, if you do have a great senior year and you feel like you have good grounds for appealing that, we would encourage you to do so.
Well, this was a wonderful, wonderful chat. I just want to thank Lily so much for
Yes.
sharing all of her amazing experience.
No
and Bryce
problem.
for
I
sharing his
enjoyed it.
expertise.
Yeah.
I want to remind our audience that we are going to be doing text chatting in the UC Santa Cruz booth until 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. So please bring your questions, bring your interest in UC Santa Cruz to our other admissions representatives, and ask them what you'd like to know more about our campus. I just want to ask two final questions
Sure.
for our wonderful presenters. And one, Lily, can you share with our audience what it is you most love about UC Santa Cruz, what you think is most distinctive and special?
I love all the people I meet. I meet all kinds of people from everywhere, and they're all just super different, and it's just amazing that how different they are, and like they all have different stories, and I get to hear about them and share our different cultural backgrounds. And yeah, I think that's what I love most about the school. It's the
Mhm.
people in the community.
Fantastic.
Professors, I love them.
Yeah. So maybe just a quick follow-up. So what would you say was your major factor in choosing UC Santa Cruz?
Well, location.
Location?
Yeah, it's great. We're in the redwoods and we're right by the beach.
Sure. So yeah, you have that kind of that
Yeah.
intimate, kind of smaller community feel. I mean, the
Yeah.
city of Santa Cruz is about 60,000 people, so it is a smaller community, a medium-sized
Exactly.
city, but well within reach of a lot that San Francisco and the
Mhm.
Bay Area has to offer. Yeah.
And Bryce, what is your best piece of advice for students who are interested in applying to UC Santa Cruz as an international student?
Sure. So my best piece of advice for international students who are considering applying is to inform yourself. Obviously, I mean, I think I could easily say do well. I don't know if that in your high school, I don't know if that's going to be the most productive piece of advice. I mean, I think you probably have that idea already. Plan ahead. Be informed. The admissions office here at the university is by design here to support you in your endeavors and to answer your questions. So if there's anything that comes up, any question you have, seek out advice from our office, and our office directly, because we're ultimately going to be the authority on making sure you get the correct information, that timely information, and that personal information. So in addition to taking a variety of classes and studying English, because that's obviously a very integral part of attending a school in the United
Yes.
States, doing well in those schools, preparing for your standardized tests, being engaged and well-rounded in your application, making sure that you have experiences that will lend themselves well to the university, whether that's
Yes.
martial arts or playing sports or being engaged, volunteering. All those
Yeah,
things
tell
are great.
everything about yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No. And what piece of advice would you have, maybe, if maybe something that I didn't mention, if there is something?
No, I think you covered everything.
Great.
All right, well, with that, I'm going to say thank you again so much to
Thank
Bryce
you.
and Lily, and to our wonderful audience. We look forward to seeing you on our campus at UC Santa Cruz soon.
Yes, thank you everybody
Thank
so much.
you.